Just listen to the sound, okay? Listen to it. Wow. Miracles can happen, guys. Anyway, I think in the series of me giving you tea, it's time we move to the new tea, like another topic. In this particular incident, I'll talk about I had one of the worst experiences with people. Like, I don't know, I've always been around people who have like treated me, well. I mean, that's the bare minimum that you expect. If people can't treat you right, they can at least be neutral about it. So what happens in this particular incident, like, it has more to do with how I felt. And there's this line by Oprah that she says people will forget what you did for them, people will forget whatever, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Remember exactly how I felt at that time. And this is a sort of a personal story, and I'm still in some ways connected to this person, but she doesn't know that that particular incident has impacted me so much that I still have a little bit of salt or a little bit of grudges, or like not a very good feeling, so I can't be in a room with her for so long or whatever. I'm using a lot of filler words here, so I'll try not to use any filler words and still tell my story and come also to straight to the point. Think of it like this: I'll not name any people, and I'll also not name the location, because it's quite easy these days to figure out. But it's just that I wanted to share, that how people make you feel sometimes leaves a mark on you, and not a good mark at that. It's sort of like a scar. So as you all know that I have a marketing agency, and I'm helping people build their personal brands, build their social media and all. And while working, I met with this guy. He is super into environment, waste management and all of that, so very conscious person. And if I explain the place, the environment, it's sort of like a cult. I don't know if why I named it this, but anyway, so there's a whole work management people, and they live like family, okay? So the girl apparently is the partner of this person. So what happened is, in my contract, I had to dedicate some of my time during the month to go to the exact location and spend some time doing this or that. Maybe it's consulting, understanding the work, maybe shooting some of it, creating content, etc. So that was the whole point. And to be very honest, I was super proud working with the people, because they were like onto something, their mission was something. Initially, I had felt like, okay, this is where I want to be. This is an amazing place. First time around, okayish experience. I remember the first time, she was working in the kitchen, because she takes care of the menu, etc. So she was working in the kitchen, and I was like, can I help you? And she's like, no. And she did not even ask my name, who are you, where you're from. So right off the bat, she did not seem welcoming at all to me. To me, it irked me a little bit, because usually people are welcoming to me, and people, no matter how introvert they are, and that's fine. I mean, if you're an introvert, you do not get along with people on the first go, so that's fine. And then second time I went, that was also fine. Had good food, did good work, etc., etc. But like, as the more you go, the more you know. And in first time around, you only see the good stuff. Second time, it's a little neutral, okay, the good and the okay stuff. And then the third time around, you get to see, okay, what makes them imperfect also. So that's what you see, right? There are volunteers around. So volunteers have like specific tasks. I wouldn't say managed, I would say also micromanaged to a certain level. If you're a girl, then you're micromanaged more. If you're a guy, then maybe not so much, because the same sex or opposite sex thing. In this particular incident, everything is going well. I was trying my best to help. I even took some of my things. For example, I took my coffee kit, etc., to make my own coffee and all of that. So I was feeling a little bit quite at home until the very last day. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. Imagine this, that you are me, okay, and you live in a place. I mean, first time around, I had a separate room. Second time around, they were like, okay, go to the dorms and all. So imagine this, you're me, and then you're in a dorm with two other girls, and one is a volunteer and the other one works there. And you just, do a little banter and, talk about life and all, and then like, midnight ramblings, etc. So that was what was happening. And while after doing dinner, there is this activity that they do at the end of the month, where all the team comes up and they talk about their progress, their achievements, etc. So they were preparing for everything like that, So they were preparing sandwiches, okay. So we three are there, okay. And we just had dinner, and after dinner, we just like cleaning up and then talking about things and then walking a little bit. One thing you should know about me is that I don't like to wake up very early. I'm like, okay, if the work can start late, I can also start late. So I don't wake up very early unless I'm traveling or unless it's a very important event. I'm helping the girl do the dishes and then chopping a little bit, putting the sauces, etc., for the sauce filling, etc. Then what happens is the other girls who were in the dorm with me, they promise her, okay, that okay, we will come next day and then next morning and then we'll help you to make these sandwiches. And the only task left, mind you, was to put the filling in the sandwiches and then take it. Okay, that was the only thing left. I had help with the dishes, I had help with everything, other than that, whatever. Although I was not required to, because I'm working for them, I'm not required to do any of that. But in a setting where everyone is working, you are also supposed to work. So that's what I did. And then I had a word with her, the other 3 people, including there's one guy also. So they went for a smoke break and I was working in the kitchen. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. Now I'll go. Then I went to my room. I worked for a little bit and then I slept. Okay, and I wake up. Just remember one thing, that these 2 girls, they had promised her that they will help her in the morning. So she automatically thought that I am also going to come and help her in the morning. Okay, and here's the funniest, weirdest, awkwardest part. Till the night, everything is fine. Now comes morning. I wake up and the girl who was the volunteer, she comes and she's looking sad. Okay, and she's like, I went upstairs and they said, okay, the girl said, don't come inside, I'll say something which you will not like, so please get out of my eyes, don't come in front of me, otherwise I'll say something bad. And then she gets sad. Okay, and she comes back and she's like, oh, what happened and all. And mind you, this girl was already being macromanaged with one other girl who was like the project manager or something. The guy, he also came late, so but he was there in the kitchen. The other girl who was working, who was a part of the like everyday team, she was in a room and I just woke up, I'm not in my senses and I just wanted to know like what's happening. No one has told me anything, like I'm not in the group, no one called me, so how am I supposed to know that it's me who is supposed to also go in the kitchen and help you just put the filling over the bread and then wrap it over with the slice of bread, right? And then I don't know, I'm extending this, but everything is coming back to my head. And then I'm like, what the hell? Ki kya ho raha hai, if I say it blatantly. I go up and then this girl who is the project manager, she is like, aapko kuch message bheja hai maine, did you get that? And I'm like, what the hell? Who are you? Okay. And then, but I did not want to like do anything. And mind you, the girl who I'm talking about, who made me feel, whatever, she was not there at that point of time. They were like the staff, the volunteer, etc. And they were discussing about what has happened and the depth of what has happened, okay? And at that point of time, I did not know the depth. And I'm like, I messaged this guy and I'm like, because of him, I'm here. And he is my point of contact. The other people are, a result of me like contacting him. So I'm like, I just said, hey, can I have a word with you? He knows what has happened. And he is like, and I had not seen this side of him. He is like, and I'm like, okay, what's happening? Okay. So what I got to know from the volunteer is that aaj hame na khana nahi milega, which means like we will not get breakfast today and we will not get lunch today because we did not respect our words and we did not go in the morning to help her. That is why we will not get lunch and we will not get breakfast and lunch. Okay. And I'm in shock. I'm like, what the hell? Like, did you put it in the contract when I signed this with you? Did you do that? So I'm just asking him like, okay, can you tell me like what's happening? I just heard that we will not get breakfast and lunch, and it's not about breakfast and lunch, it's about how we are like treated like this, like suddenly, because we did not wake up, which I did not, obviously, because we didn't wake up and because we didn't come to help you, and now you're hurt and now you're saying or you're communicating with everyone without being there that we will not get lunch and breakfast. This is some serious level shit, okay? And he tells me she is hurt, does not mean that you don't have you will not she did not prepare like breakfast and lunch for you. Just go and apologize to her. And at that point of time I was not even like feeling bad. I was like, what's happening? Okay, what the hell, sort of, that was going in my mind. But the moment he said, she is like sad, you should go and talk to her, aisa nahi hai, you will get breakfast, and everything is dismantled in front of him. Okay, there was this lady who was working in the kitchen and who was being instructed by this girl, tells him in their own language, which I could understand a little bit. So she's like, Rakshita and this girl, we have been instructed to not make breakfast for them and lunch. And I'm like, Okay, whatever. So I go out, I go back to my room, and then I go with this girl who is also like sad and all. And we go out, and then they say, we'll close the gates at 9:30 because we are supposed to go to assemble in the meeting hall and then do the session, and we have to close the door. And we're like, we don't have anything to eat, so we'll go out and eat somewhere. And then I went there and then I ordered something and all, and then I'm eating it, and we just have to like keep a watch of the time so that we don't exceed the time limit. And I could not eat, even like I was telling people in my family, what has happened, and because I'm also in shock. And then I went down, okay, and I'm just sitting down and I'm like, I'll go talk to this girl. But while I was going down, she came up from the temple, okay. She calls herself a devotee, she calls herself a bhakt, she praises the Lord, etc., etc. And then she treats people like this. While I entered the meeting hall, I saw her coming upstairs, and then I say hi, and she's like, hi. And then she went, okay. I could totally sense that she's not in a mood to talk with me or any of the girls, the two girls. Okay, mind you, the girl who was working there, she told me that she pays for her accommodation and the food, and that denying her food is sort of like, not giving her money's worth, right? And also she told me that this has happened with them before as well, so it's not the first time. And then I tell my boyfriend, what has happened, and then he tells me that you're a founder, you should act like a founder, and you should act like the person that you have gone there to work, and you should not act like a volunteer, and you should not act like a teammate who is adhering to their rules. But then I did not understand at that time, and then I just in this office meeting there's a potluck as well, so everyone is bringing whatever they are like supposed to bring, everyone is bringing a new dish, etc., etc. So what happens is, now I'm processing, okay, what's happening with me. I'm processing. And it's not about if my stomach is empty. It's not about if I've eaten. Mind you, I've like skipped breakfast, skipped lunch. I've fasted, several times. So it's not the first time that, I'm being denied food. But it's the first time that I'm being treated like this, that someone is saying you will not get lunch, you will not get breakfast. And people are treating me like this without any prior notice. I mean, I did not see this coming at all. I was in utter shock. Then I sat down, and then I saw the performances, saw the meetings, etc., saw the reports and all going on. And then I'm like, what just has happened with me? And I'm playing my boyfriend's words in my head. He's telling me like, this is what happens when you are not rigid about your position, and if you're accommodate to people's needs, then they end up using you, then they end up treating you however they want. And then it hit home. And my face like was all, I was like, okay, I can make do with this. But then something happened. I, kept thinking and thinking again and again. It was going on in circles. And then I felt bad about myself. I was like, how did I end up here? How did I end up here? I wanted to go home so bad. I wanted to like get out of that place. I wanted to get out of that hell of a place and, be with people who actually care about me, and be with like total strangers as well. Like I could totally manage being around strangers than being around with those people. From outside it was all flowery and all of that, but from inside you're like treating people like this. So I'm sitting and thinking, and then it comes lunchtime, okay, and I'm like scared, okay. I'm thinking, what if I take a plate, start eating, and then someone comes to me and says, there's no lunch for you. Mind you, there are 50 people there, from all departments, from all different departments, or from different domains. And I was like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not going to eat. Then I go downstairs, and then I cried, howling and crying. I did not feel good at all. I was crying. And I did not want people to know that I'm affected by this much. Keeping in mind, the two girls who were with me, they were like, one has gone through this before, so she is like used to this, okay. So she's like, okay, fine, I'll go apologize to her and whatever, because she's the queen bee and I'm the I'm her musketeer or whatever. And then the other girl as well, she was there for quite some time, like for a month or so she also was used to all of this treatment. So she also like forgot about it and just went on with it. And I think whatever, and there I am rethinking my life, rethinking how I ended up here, and then crying, okay, because I did not feel good at all. And I was calling my boyfriend, I was saying I'm not feeling good at all, and he got worried, he got tensed. He's like, don't cry, be strong, etc., etc. And I went to my room, and obviously they had like a little humanity left in them, so they called actually, the girl, that very girl who made me feel like that, she called me. She's like, oh Rakshita, where are you? Come for food and all, we are waiting for you. And I'm like, wow, the hypocrisy and the audacity of you. And I'm like, my like I have a serious headache and I don't want to like eat. I have like eaten or whatever. And then I went. Okay, I went upstairs and then I slept. Okay, I slept for, and then I told my boyfriend that okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to come back, because at that point of time my work was done. I was just thinking, I have like 2 more days, and so I'll probably spend here, just knowing people more. But then I was like, okay, fine, this is I think the right time to go. Then I slept, and then I woke up with puffy eyes, etc. And then the thing that's replaying in my mind, and then I got to know the silver lining in the cloud is that my boyfriend was coming to get me. So that's a good thing. He drove all the way. And okay, tea time again, because my storage finished and I got into a bad mood because of just remembering all of the stuff that happened during that time. So the silver lining was that my boyfriend, he came to get me from there, and he just got worried, and yeah, it was a little relief. And this is why you choose a partner wisely. Choose someone whom you can count on, who knows when you are actually sad, and is there to rescue you. So that was a silver lining. He reached around 11:30 to 12 in the midnight, but the moment I saw him, I like forgot everything that happened, but still it was in the back of my head. And then I did not even spend the night there in the dorm, because I was so done with all the shit. The next day though, because I just wanted to be polite again, I went back there. But I could sense that there was some sort of change, maybe because of the way I reacted, maybe because of the way how I distanced myself, and did not go there and apologize or whatever, although I had told them that I would. But anyway, so something changed, and although I was not sure if I'm going to work with them or not, but then a few days later I got a message from him that because that was the last month of a contract, so he just told me that we can hold this for some time, and also I just knew that this is the end of it and we're not going to work again. Yeah, so then after that, when I was coming back, all through the way I was thinking about it, and I was like very sad, and I did not know how I let this happen to me. But the better thing about that is I'm not going to put myself in that situation again, and not going there again, and I'm not working with them again. So you can be saving the world out there, you can be reducing the bad things of the world, but if you're not good with people, then you are at fault somewhere or the other, and one day this truth might come out, and then you'll end up paying for it. And I think this is what happens when you have some sort of how do you call it, overconfidence, and maybe I'm better than the others sort of mindset. One day I was like just thinking about it, maybe months later, Google that place. I went through the Google reviews, and because I couldn't be the only one who got such an experience. There might be other people like me, although less. I'm not saying everyone who went there had the bad experience, but there were some people, and not, mind you, not just from this country, I mean from outside as well. This girl, she complained about the behavior of the owner, and how he was self-righteous, that I am the best, we do the best thing out there, and you can't question me, or you can't question my approach, or you can't question my attitude, something like that. And then it gave me a closure, because for some point I thought maybe I was at fault because of how I took it, how I instantly distanced myself from everything. But somewhere down the line I was not, this was unacceptable, and I did not confront them, and I go to them and say, okay, this is not how it should be, I'm leaving and all. I did not create a scene. I silently got distant. I called my boyfriend, and then left. That's what happened. So just it gave me a closure, knowing that there are other people out there who experienced this side of that particular place. And honestly, it made me that no matter how good some people claim a person or a place to be, it might not work out for you, because you have certain standards and you have certain expectations from people. And as a caveat to this, after that incident, I made sure to not let people treat me like this, because see, I let them make me spend my time in a dorm room. I could easily afford a room outside at as cheap as 1,500 per night. I could easily afford that, and they were even reimbursing 50% of whatever I was, my transportation, and the stay and food was for free. But it made me realize that you only get treated as good as you make yourself important. I don't know how I mean, it came out wrong. People treat you as good as or as serious as you yourself make them feel. If I'm bubbly, if I'm, just hanging out with every volunteer, if I'm, and this is not to say that, a volunteer is not as equal as me who is building an agency, or a person who works in the company is not as equal as me. It's just that I am building the distance. I'm creating the distance that I'm here for work. I could be friendly with you, but I'm here for work, and you should treat me like one of your vendors, and not just like, oh, I'm your like younger sibling or your sister, or, your school friend whom you can bully the way you want. My boyfriend, he reinforced this idea, that you should not, whenever you go, you should look presentable, and you should behave like you are a serious person and you should be taken seriously. And I think this is my message. I'm not trying to be very very rigid here. I just want you to understand that if you are in a position, and if you go somewhere and you want people to take you seriously, do 2-3 things, like, maybe first of all, dress the way I was, like wearing sweatshirts. Sometimes my hair was uncombed and I was just being casual because, that's how the way it is. But I should have like been more presentable. I should have not been very friendly, not laughing, or a lot of things. I could have made myself more approachable, but I could have like made my position clear that I'm here for work and I should be treated in a certain way. So after that, I just made it clear to myself. Actually, I'm not, going out there saying, hey, I'm a founder, you should treat me, you should make a golden or iron throne for me. I'm not saying that, but it should be clear in your head how you want to be treated. And wherever you go, you're representing your organization, you're representing your core values, you're representing your future team as well. So if you are someone who is, building something from scratch, and in the initial years of your life, it's quite hard for you to portray yourself as the authority figure of your particular venture or your particular small business, I think you should behave that way. You should start acting that way, because the faster you act, the better people start taking you. So yeah.